Hi there everyone, James from the Brew London here with your weekly health and wellbeing video. So this week we're going to talk about the kind of concept of knowing yourself, being true to yourself, through flaws and all. And I think it's an important kind of process and journey for us to go on. It might be, it's probably a journey that's going to be ongoing throughout life, but I think you can get to a point where you really kind of accept these things. So, being truthful with ourselves, I think that we can all lie to yourselves a little bit, convince yourself or ignore certain things, and no one's perfect. We all have these kind of things that potentially we want to work on or do better at, or regrets in life, things like that. These things are kind of how we learn, but also we can get to a point where we kind of almost ignore them, and we might let certain character traits that we might not like carry on because we tell ourselves, oh, it's not a big deal, I'll deal with that later, and things like that. And I think it's important for us to be truthful with ourselves, because if we're not going to be truthful with ourselves, you can't necessarily build in the way you want to build, or for lack of a better term, become the person you want to become, and all that sort of thing. And it's also, not saying that people going around using flaws against you and things like that, but there's potential for that. And if you're potentially affected by things that other people might say about you and stuff like that, and it might not even be necessarily directly about what those kind of things that you want to be truthful with yourself, but it might be something completely different. But I think the more truthful we are with ourselves, and the more comfortable and accepting we are of ourselves, through flaws and all, the less that external things, people, other things can affect us, make us feel bad about ourselves. Because I think that once you've learned to accept yourself, and be truthful about whatever flaws, for lack of a better term, we may have, it's a lot harder for other people to use that against you, or for it to affect you in certain circumstances. And I'm not saying people are out attacking again. It could be someone says something kind of innocuous and not even meaning it, but something in there might affect you. And I think the more we can accept our flaws, and be truthful with ourselves, the easier dealing with those things are. And of course, if it's like if you've got a habit, for instance, that you wanna quit, we have to want to quit things to be able to quit those things. It's not someone else doing it. So it's the same with being truthful with ourselves. We have to be truthful with ourselves to then start building and being able to potentially, if we want to change something, or if we want to adjust something or anything like that, you have to be able to accept that potentially it might be an issue first, and then you can build from that. If we're just ignoring these things, brushing them over and lying to ourselves, how can you ever move forward from it? So I think it's a really important thing, and it's freeing as well, because once you've acknowledged these things, it's like, all right, well, I've got these things, I've acknowledged it, let me move forward with it now. If you're burying it down, there's no progress. So I think it's really important for us to, we don't have to do everything all in one go, but the things that affect you, the things that and notice about yourself, I think that's a very important kind of process to go through. And it will help you change and grow as a person, which is what life is about. So I hope you enjoyed that one, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.